Shalom, shalom, shalom. Israel giving up praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Bechakadash. The bond is to the elders of GMS who rule well. Salutations to you, Akim out there pushing his word and truth as a city, risking freedom in your life to do so. More so now than ever before. I'm gonna make this video real short, kind of on the clock right now, at my job. But I'm going through, news article, just kind of looking up, see what's going on in the world, prophecy or whatever have you. And there's an article I stumbled upon. It says U.S. stops sharing data on nuclear forces with Russia. All right. So apparently the U.S. has been sharing, in the past, um, information about a nuclear treaty with Russia, um, because they had signed treaties, of peace, and they won't develop any nuclear weapons and they won't test nuclear weapons, which we know that this is all biblical prophecy. All right. We're coming to the point where eventually they're gonna fire these things off, right? And they're gonna send it where? Mystery Babylon the Great, aka America. And this is America's last trump card, if you will, its last hope for any remnant of peace. But Russia has took that off the table, especially after supplying Ukraine with weapons to fight against them. Russia says enough is enough. So they disregarded the treaty. We're in those times. So U.S. stopped sharing data on nuclear forces with Russia. Biden administration seeks to encourage Moscow to return to compliance with New START nuclear arms treaty. Says the U.S. has informed Russia that it will no longer exchange data on the strategic nuclear forces following Moscow's decision to suspend its participation in the New START treaty cutting long-range arms, U.S. officials said Tuesday. This is the first action we have taken within the treaty in response to Russia's suspension, a Biden administration official said. It is our goal to encourage Russia to return to compliance with the treaty. The treaty being that they're not going to develop these long-range nuclear missiles. But Russia has dumped that a long time ago. Matter of fact, Russia has been threatening a nuclear war for over a year, ever since the invasion of Ukraine. But we know that according to prophecy, the Most High revealed his secrets to his servants, the prophets. I believe that's in Habakkuk. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we know according to prophecy, that's not how the Heavenly Father is going to have this go down. He's gonna have the mark of the beast be implemented and to try us. And once that's implemented, not too long after, once they start really imposing it, enforcing it, then the noose is gonna fly. Yahushua is gonna come back. So we know this is just the starting growth pains of the prophecy. So it says in quotation, this is the first action we have taken within the treaty in response to Russia's suspension. A Biden administration official said it is our goal to encourage Russia to return to compliance with the treaty. Russian President Vladimir Putin said last month that Moscow would step back from the last remaining major nuclear arms control treaty between the U.S. and Russia, and said Moscow will also stand ready to test new nuclear weapons if Washington moved to do so first. Look at that. Let's get a scripture. Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it wheresoever he will. Right? The king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. So although they don't want this to happen, and it's going to go into it in an article, although they don't want this to happen, this is prophecy, and this is what the Lord wants. Who wants a nuclear war? It's mutually assured destructions on both sides. Millions upon millions of people are going to die instantly. A lot of land that was built up is going to be decimated. Nobody wants a nuclear war. And to be honest, if it was up to them, they wouldn't anticipate or expect a nuclear exchange. But this is all prophecy, you see? This is not what they want. So reading on, the U.S. decision to halt data sharing was conveyed Monday to Deputy Russian Foreign Minister Sergio Rabkov by Bonnie Jenkins, the Undersecretary of State for Arms Control and International Security. Some former officials said that the move was needed to drive home the cost to Moscow of its decision to step back from the treaty. In quotation, it's extremely unfortunate, but entirely predictable and appropriate. Why should Russia continue to benefit from transparency measures when it is denying them to the United States, said Lynn Rustin, a former senior U.S. official who is now vice president of the Nuclear Threat Initiative, a nonprofit organization focused on security measures. Right. So as you can see, man, they stopped sharing data, man. This is the time of war that we're speaking about. Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech, and Tubal, and prophesy against it. Magog is the land of Russia, geographically speaking. So we know, according to this prophecy, it's speaking about the land of Russia, and Gog is the prince, or what you would call the president, the head of Russia now. Verse 3, and thus said the Lord, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy armies and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields and a sword. Right, and I'm gonna jump to verse 7. Be thou prepared, prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Right, so you can read a little bit on because I'm pressed for time. The Lord is turning Russia back into that USSR Cold War spirit, to where now they want to rise up into positions of authority as a world leader over the entire world. But this is going to ultimately end up in a destruction of Babylon, Israel, and some parts in the deliverance of us. And nuclear war will happen according to the prophecy. So with that, call out Yahweh Shah, Shalom.